And at the beginning, I felt kind of uncomfortable because in the way that a chaser will approach me and like he'll be like all over me, and I'm like, really? You like all this?
Wait, so you went from... You almost are skeptical.
And sabotage yourself. It's like, he's all over me, and I'm like...
for such a long time. I used to look at guys look at me like, you find me cute? You like my titties? Something's wrong with you. Like, something is definitely wrong with you.
The first time I went to a Chub Chaser event in Chicago, 2012, I was literally standing in line ready to register, and behind me pokes this chaser, and I look back and I'm like super nervous because he's like really hot, and you know, he was just this guy that I never thought would hit me up, and he tried to spark. He's like asking me silly questions like, where's the registration line, even though I was in the later on I come to find out that he was just trying to hit on me. So it was interesting. I was like, how can this hot guy be hitting on me? I can't. You're right, there is skepticism there at first.
Oh yeah, the first time I got hit up by a chaser in person, I literally looked at him like he was crazy. I was like,
what's wrong with you?
Are you okay? And he really, I mean, the really funny thing is that he ended up telling me later on, much later on, that he felt like I was completely turned off by him because of my reaction. Are you sure you want to hit on me? Like, so it's just interesting how we go through those instances where we're like, why do people find me hot? Like, how can people find me hot? But yeah, there are people out there.
So, Junie, what was your type, real quick?
My body type is definitely cub. Like, ideally. I don't want a really thin person. I don't want like a twink body type, if you will. But, and it will range, you know, someone from a cub, you know, all the way up to a chub on the lower end of the scale. The lower end of the scale.
That lower end.
The lower end of the scale. Upper end.
We'll probably have an episode about the labels and
the body type,
the weights and stuff like that. But you want a cub, you said, ideally.
Ideally. Taller than I am. And definitely someone who is more masculine.
Well, we're just talking about body type right now. She's like
masculine looking.
She's like giving her whole checklist. Like, I mean, this is all of it.
Hit me up. Comment below.
One fun story. I was once a chaser.
Really?
Yes.
You were that thin?
I was skinny.
I've seen his picture.
I was around 200 pounds.
But I didn't know you were chasing.
My boyfriend at the time, he was a big guy. He was,
wow.
And I loved being the little spoon. He was the big spoon.
Yes, big.
And I loved that. So I think I still like, you know, that's why I like taller guys. I still want to feel like I'm the little one.
Right.
Yeah.
I've only ever dated one short guy, and I felt like I had to be the mama bear for the guy. Like, I would be the one holding him. I would be the one spooning him. I would be the one, like, protecting him. And the entire time I would look at him like, what good are you for? Like, I'm over here acting like the top. And, I mean, but when he needed to be the top, yes. But otherwise, I felt like I had to protect him. So for me, ideally, I would want someone who's taller than me as well.
Interesting. I mean, my type is actually I'm very bisexual is the word.
Right. That's actually a term. Bisexual.
Unisexual, I guess.
Right.
I don't really care about size. I think it's more about how they approach me.
Well.
And I always tell people I really don't care what you look like. It's much more how you handle yourself.
But you have a physical preference. What's your physical ideal preference?
It's hard for me.
No, don't get cute, girl. Don't get cute. What is it?
I mean, I like a guy who can handle me. So with that comes strength, and with that comes some degree of muscle.
She's being real cute.
No. No, it's because I really, honestly, if they can handle me, and I think that I can't overcome them, then I feel good. But
she's a go.
That's key for me because you can be a little, you know, have some extra pounds, but you better not be a bed potato or a couch potato when it comes to, you know, to the neat and greedy. You gotta be able to like perform.
So. I mean, short guys.
I don't even want to talk about short guys.
I'm telling you that short guys like surprise me.
Yeah,
all the time.
I mean, way back when I was single, of course. Now I have everything I want.
She's safe now. She's safe.
Hi, Papa. Right. I'm taken now.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I met this. I dated this guy for a little bit, and he was like 5'6" or 5'5", and we were very compatible in bed. I just, I must say that he was, very. He was athletic, but he was short. But I think in bed size, at least height doesn't
really matter.
No.
Height doesn't really matter.
In bed, no, it doesn't.
I mean, I've had similar experience. I dated I didn't date him, but I was intimate with someone who was 5'5" and continuously intimate because of the athleticism that happened. And yeah, it was quite interesting.
I think you guys are shallow queens when it comes to body types.
Shallow?
Yeah. Like you guys, I really don't care about it.
You say that now. Because you have a boyfriend. And he has a specific body type.
Because I remember at some point I was just only into Latinos. And that was it.
I think we all go through this.
I didn't want to meet no gringo, and now
so you were racist at some point.
Moving back to our topic of body positivity.
No, remember, in Puerto Rico, that's the only thing that was there,
Well, it's difficult to find someone who's not Latino in a completely Latin country.
Right. So when I moved to the States and I started seeing these white dudes, I've dated Asian in the whole spectrum, but when I started watching this some TV shows I got really attracted to like white guys with like tattoos, like beards and that.
Or we can have a whole episode on men.
Next
on men.
Body positivity. Everybody should be sexy. Feel sexy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you guys then. What would you offer to people who are watching us and other people within our communities that as wisdom to promote their body positivity and be able to share their experiences with other people? What would you offer them as words of wisdom?
Do your homework as far as knowing yourself, what you like, what you don't like, and if you don't like, do something about it. And it's a process. It's not easy. I'm not gonna say that. From one day to another, I feel completely secure about my body, but it's something that you need to work on. What you like, what you don't like.
Yeah. I think it's a really good point that if there's something about yourself that you don't like, you have all the power in the world to be able to change it. So change it.
And know that you are enough. That the way you are, that's enough.
Girl, you know?
Enough.
Very
it's
good.
enough.
Yeah.
You are enough.
No, I agree because it's important to know, like you said, yourself and what you want and
Self-worth.
who you are. Mm-hmm. One of the things that Lorraine talks about in this article, she says, talk to yourself. And I used to think you were kind of crazy about that, but I don't know if I should share that or not to the world.
And you just did, so please continue.
But talk to yourself. She encourages people to talk to yourself. Why? The human brain, actually, we spend about 300 to 1,000 words. We tell ourselves about 300 to 1,000 words on a daily basis. Okay. And when you're confronted with a situation, look at it as a challenge, not as a problem. Talk to yourself. I can do this. I can get through this.
Right.
That's what I do I talk to myself in the mirror like, yeah, you look good. Damn.
Right,
those clothes. Yeah.
I talk to myself all the time.
And it works.
Audibly.
Audibly.
Yes. For those who don't understand, the definition will be right at the bottom. I talk to myself audibly.
Right here.
Do you argue with yourself?
What I would offer as wisdom to people in regards to body positivity is to understand that although it's true that there are specific people or specific body types that are more socially accepted and more socially sought after, but that there is a reason why you are here and that existence is valuable enough. If there's something you want to do it. If there's something you want to change, back to your point, then change it. But understanding and accepting yourself leads you down the path to be able to find what it is that you're looking for. You can't expect other people to love you for who you are if you don't love yourself.
That's true.
So,
amen. But okay, I have an activity for you guys.
Cool.
Okay.
I'm excited.
So, and I want everybody at home to try this as well.
Girl, I got a water, girl.
That water, though.
That's lemonade, though.
Okay, water break. So it talks about the fourth step is think positive to overcome your negative bias. So we already have this negative bias, but we want to be able to think positive. So how do we do it? It's about 5 steps. Are you guys ready? Okay. So the first one is you want to think 5 positive thoughts about yourself to counter every one negative.
5 positive thoughts about yourself to counter 1 negative.
Right. So we're going to start with, we're going to let every positive thought, we're going to talk about it, and we're going to let that positive thought sit there for about 20 seconds.
The positive thought.
The positive thought.
Okay.
And then third, we're going to acknowledge each good and bad emotion.
You're going to make me cry.
You're going to cry?
Oh my God.
I can't with these feelers. You guys, watch our first episode. And
It was such a good episode. You need to watch it. Right. We talk about feelers and thinkers, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
The third step is acknowledge each good and bad. So don't try to dismiss your bad emotions. You want to count them, right? Acknowledge them. But for every one that you acknowledge, you have to come up with 5, and it'll really force you to dig deep into yourself to be more positive. Don't try to suppress any of the negative emotions. And finally, label your emotions as what they are. This is a good one. This is a bad one. And then we'll move forward.
Okay.
You move on. Okay? You do not give a dialogue. You're not giving to the dialogue with your negative emotions. Lorraine says on this article, she says, a lot of times we get into this dialogue with these negative emotions and we're there. We get stuck with that negative emotion and we never get out of that. Mm-hmm. So let's try this exercise. It must be difficult. We don't have to come up with 5, but at least 3, 1 for each person. Okay. So we'll start with Junie.
Okay.
You don't have to talk about the negative one. Just think about your negatives and come up with your positives. Mention 1 positive and we'll let it sit for 20 seconds.
So are we talking about physically or just generally?
It has no bounds. It's good and bad emotions.
Okay. So 1 positive about me is that I really like the way my eyes are shaped. I think I have really nicely shaped eyes.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Let's look at her eyes. We're going to let it sit for 20 seconds in the air. Let the universe take hold of that positive thought. I actually really do like your eyes, the shape of them.
Yeah, they're really interesting.
Yeah.
Like, most people have more of an oval shape, or they have an elongated shape. My eyes does a little curve at the end. Mm-hmm. I like the shape of them.
Makes you look innocent, although you're not. But I mean, just saying.
You're vain. I'm just kidding. This is a positive.
Yeah.
Okay, Yadiel. 1 positive thing.
1 positive. I think I would like to say I'm optimistic. When I encounter difficult situations, I always try to think positively about, at work, this is stressing me out, but I'll say, thankful that I have a job. So I try
optimism.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like my eyes too. My legs, I like my legs, so.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And something that, what's her name again? Miss
Lorraine Q.
I read this book. I'm not gonna mention the name, but it talks about that. It's more about overcoming stress and anxiety, and it's about you will always know when you're self-sabotaging yourself. The negative thought will come first, and then the emotion comes out as a result of that negative thought. So you have to be able to identify those negative thoughts that will come to your mind and just zap them out. That's part of the exercise of that.
And it's okay to mention what was the name of the book?
MeQuilibrium is called. And actually, this is funny. I was going through a kind of a hard period with my job, pretty much, and some people around me that were very negative, and they were always, oh, I don't like myself, or they were just going through stuff. And I went to this dollar store. I was just, because I like to go and see stuff around. And they have a little section where they have books. And I just looked in the books, and I saw that one. And I was like, oh, okay, let me grab it. And it helped me. It gives you exercise.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
And we'll put the name and all the information on the description for you guys as well. Okay, so a positive one for me. Man, that's hard.
There's so many.
You guys are so vain.
There's so many.
I'm so humble. I think I like my lips.
They're
I really
cute.
like my lips.
They're cute.
Let it sit there. Okay, no.
I like your smile.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
And your eyes.
This is a lot of positivity. Keep going.
I like your hair. I am super jealous of his hair. Super jealous of his hair.
It's a mess.
It is not a mess.
No,
the fact that you can grow it.
It's thick.
Let me
healthy. I'm balding.
I need to go on a tangent for 5 seconds. Let me tell you that living with this one when she has to go out is really interesting. But she's like, oh, I gotta do my hair. And I'm sitting here like,
Right. It takes me forever to do it. It's because it's so thick that it doesn't do. I have to put product in it. It doesn't
so
do.
good.
And
poor baby.
Poor me. Anyway, but thank you for the positivity. That was a good activity, right? Did you
That was
have
fun.
fun?
And it's really helpful. It's like every time you feel down, just
For everyone,
Yeah,
Right. Affirmations are a great thing.
Yeah.
I think affirmations are a great thing to be able to tell yourself truths about yourself in a positive way. We always focus on the negative aspects of us because those are things that we're constantly bombarded with. But when you sit down and really think about yourself in a positive light, like those affirmations are a great thing.
right.
So she has 3 more steps, and I don't know if we'll have time to get through all of them, but I did want to let you know on the very last one that she has.
Mm-hmm.
And she talks about taking control and not being afraid. So when you have control of your life and you have control of what you want, you tend to not be as scared. You tend to be more confident about it. You know, let's say you, like Junito, you know, he has lost some weight. You took control of that weight. How did that make you feel? Were you more confident?
You know what the really interesting thing is that I didn't think I was going to see such an immediate response from myself in that. And it was when I started to notice it myself, that's when I was like, I started to walk more confidently and started to speak more confidently. And the really awesome
that
thing
swash was
right.
What is it? The swish.
The swish was a little bit more prominent. But the really awesome thing that came with that is that it gave me the confidence to not be mistreated. I think a lot of us deal with, you know, especially if we have negative body images of ourselves, that we allow people to treat us in a certain way, and we give ourselves, or give them, more accurately, give them the privilege of being able to treat us that way and make excuses for people. And when I started to feel better about myself and started to see these physical changes in my body and in myself, I no longer allowed people to treat me like shit.
So was it before that you thought you deserved the minimal?
I think for me is that I accepted that people were going to mistreat me because of what I look like.
And you deserve better.
Right. I mean, for me, it was like, this is what people are going to do for me. These are people are going to do because of this. So I have to not only tolerate it, but I have to accept it. And what happened was that I started to experience people not treating me that way, and being, you know, more compassionate and being more accommodating. And when people will still treat me like shit, I would be like, no. And not because I had other options, but because I was like, I deserve to be treated better.
Right.
I deserve to be someone that's respected and honored because I respect and honor myself. So if I'm doing it for myself and I do it for others, then I should receive that in return. It's an expectation. Before, it used to be like gravy. Like, it used to be something that wasn't necessarily needed, but if I got it, it was great. But now it's an expectation. Like, I want that plate with mashed potatoes, that gravy better be there. It's an expectation now.
Wow. And would that happen with chubby chasers also?
Oh yeah, it impacted not only the people that I interacted with on a daily basis, like the close-knit people,
But these guys are okay with your weight, so it had nothing to do with the weight necessarily, or?
Yeah, technically it had to do with how I interacted and how I behaved. You know what I mean? I behaved like they were doing me a favor, so of course they're gonna act like they were doing me a favor.
You were appreciative.
Yeah, I was appreciative of everything. When someone would do this to me, I'd be like, and just be like shaking in my boots. But now it's like, okay, what's next?
How about you then? Did you ever have that experience where you took control of something in your life and you felt more confident about it, and you said, I'm good, I'm going to be able to do this?
I don't know. Nothing comes to my mind right now.
Because it could happen with anything. I mean,
Right.
the specific reason that I gave Junito was his weight loss, but it could be your career, it could be anything. That sometimes we feel like we can't do things, but it's not until we really hone into that control and then we're able to exceed.
Yeah, I think, well, career-wise, I mean, I made a huge sacrifice and I left everything and everybody in order for me to pursue a career.
And you left the island, right?
Yeah, my family, everybody. I moved to Kansas, actually, where I didn't know anyone.
From Puerto Rico over to Kansas.
In the middle of blizzard of 2011, I will never forget. Yeah. And
she goes from an island, tropical weather, to Kansas,
below zero temperatures.
And it was a blizzard.
I remember, actually, my layover was in Dallas, and they delayed the flight because there was too much snow.
Kansas is not funny, girl. She is not cute.
2 years. But I made the sacrifice, and in order to, so I took control of, because there was no jobs in Puerto Rico at the time, so I had to do something. So I took,
So tell me a little bit about before you actually made the decision to change it. Did you feel like you were afraid of change?
Oh, I was scared completely because, and it's more of the unknown because I didn't know what was going to happen and I was going to leave my family behind and I didn't know anyone and language was still a little bit of a barrier back then and, so all those factors came into play.
It's such a great model for anything, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
If we are full of fear, but the moment we say, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do this.
Right. Sometimes it takes something to trigger that. It's
right.
Because you need money or
fear is a motivator. That's what it's naturally supposed to do. It's supposed to motivate you to do things. A lot of people think that fear is it disables you from being able to move forward. It's supposed to be paralyzing, but those feelings that we have negative perceptions of are actually supposed to be motivating or positive influences. Fear is supposed to motivate you to do something about what's causing that fear. So for you to be able to take that fear and be like, I'm going to go do something about that, it's a great thing. Not a lot of people can do that.
And, it was still a struggle when, because you always feel like, I got the job, so I made it. But once you get the job and you realize this is my new reality where I'm alone, I don't know anyone, that was a new struggle, but I overcame it, and I met people, I made group friends, and
very cool. Well, it's about that time, guys.
That time, girl.
Yadiel, it was very nice having you here.
It was super fun.
No, thank you guys for inviting me. It was so much fun.
Yes, Miss Yadiel here on Chub Thoughts.
Yes,
you're welcome anytime.
Anytime.
So everybody out there, please subscribe. So awesome. I mean, I wish you best of success.
I want to leave everybody, as I usually do, with a final quote. Okay? And this one's for Glennon Doyle Melton. And Glennon says, stop spending all day obsessing, cursing, perfecting your body like it's all you've got to offer to the world. Your body is not your art. It's not your art. It's your paintbrush. So whether your paintbrush is a tall paintbrush or a thin paintbrush or a stocky one, a scratched up paintbrush, that's all completely irrelevant. Because what is relevant is that you have a paintbrush. You have a paintbrush.
Girl's gonna be great.
And this paintbrush can be used to transfer your insides into a canvas of your life.
Oh, that's awesome. That is beautiful. Oh.
And at that point, others can see it and be inspired and be comforted by it.
Awesome.
And that's all, you guys. Stay positive. Thank you guys from here. We're here at Chub Thoughts. Love you guys.
Bye, guys.